Hi, I'm David Vinjamori, and this is Brand New. In Brand News today, Heinz will be marketing a mayonnaise and ketchup combination condiment after a Twitter poll question asked, "Want Mayochup in stores?" 500,000 votes for yes, and will release it to you saucy Americans. That poll gained nearly 1 million positive votes. Intrigued by the results, Pernod Ricard spirits brand Hiram Walker is considering launching a peppermint schnapps and vomit mashup in time for prom season. Sears CEO Eddie Lempert has offered to buy the Kenmore brand from Sears. The brand has reportedly been on the market for 2 years but has failed to attract a buyer. Lempert's hedge fund ESL Investment, which owns more than 70% of Sears Holdings, has made the offer official. Just weeks ago, Sears announced that it would close its last store in Chicago, where the retailer was founded more than 120 years ago. Since Lempert took control of Sears in 2004, the retailer has experienced 11 straight years of declining sales. When asked for comment about the offer to purchase Kenmore, Lempert said, "With full independent control of the iconic Kenmore brand, I believe I can do for it just what I've done to Sears." Neflix announced that it added 7.4 million subscribers in its last quarter. The online streaming service now has 125 million subscribers. BTIG media and technology analyst Rich Greenfield noted that the growth of Neflix is mirroring the decline in traditional media like broadcast television, saying that the impressive quarter for Neflix just continues to demonstrate that the legacy media ecosystem is collapsing faster than people realize. In addition to spending billions on new content, Neflix has become a progressively more savvy marketer. The streaming service announced the release of a new movie, The Cloverfield Paradox, during the Super Bowl this year and released the movie the same evening. As Netflix and other streaming services start to replace traditional media, they've also become part of the popular culture. Netflix has become synonymous with a millennial dating trend, Netflix and chill. In unrelated news, the Centers for Disease Control announced that sexually transmitted diseases have reached historic levels in the U.S., with more than 2 million new cases of gonorrhea, syphilis, and chlamydia reported. Sorry, but that's actually true. Toy maker Mattel is shaking up senior management as CEO Margot Georgiadis will be leaving her post after only a year on the job. The next CEO, a former studio executive, will be the fourth in as many years. Mattel has experienced a 4-year sales slump as the global toy manufacturer struggles to adapt to a world where women have more than a 20-inch waist and drive cars that are not pink. CVS has launched a campaign called Beauty in Real Life, which pledges to use unretouched photos in advertising and introduces a CVS Beauty Mark, which verifies that these images have not been altered. This campaign follows on the work of Dove's Campaign for Real Beauty, which Unilever launched in 2004 to counter the distorted view of beauty that fashion photography gives young girls. In addition, the new CVS campaign will help dispel the myth that drugstore advertising is too beautiful and glamorous. In our main story, Starbucks apologized for having 2 black men arrested in a Philadelphia store. The 2 men were waiting for a friend in the location when an employee asked them to leave because they had not purchased anything, then called the police when they refused. The Seattle-based coffee chain announced that they will shutter over 8,000 stores in the U.S. on May 29th to conduct a half-day of racial bias training. It's great that Starbucks realizes they have a problem, and let's be clear about this. Racial bias is a business issue, not a political issue. And it's an issue for the entire service industry. Every time a customer is denied service or even treated rudely or impolitely, it costs businesses money. Alexander Feldberg at Harvard Business School and Tammy Kim at UVA's Darden School emailed 6,000 hotels across the United States from 12 fictitious emails using names that signaled both gender and race. In the email, the request was simple: local restaurant recommendations. The 2 researchers tracked whether hotel employees responded and then analyzed the results. What did they learn? Hotel employees provided 20% more restaurant recommendations to names they perceived as white than black or Hispanic. When addressing white people, they were more likely to end their emails with polite closings like "sincerely" or "best." Finally, hotel employees were 3 times more likely to provide extra information to white questioners than blacks or Asians. It's not completely clear that racial bias training works at all. If you doubt this, Just think about whether the past 20 years of Thanksgiving dinners have actually changed your Uncle Howard's opinions about those people. What can work is structural reform, scripting interactions with customers, ending policies that can be applied differently to different groups of people, hiring customer service workers that racially, culturally, and economically mirror the groups of people they're serving. Those are all strong tools for curbing racial bias. Every large business is bound to employ workers with implicit biases, whether these are against black customers, pregnant women, New Yorkers, SUV drivers, or foreign guests. It may be impossible to change the bias, but it is possible to create systems to ensure that black people can sit in a Starbucks waiting for a client or use the restroom without buying a drink, just like the rest of us, or even to identify employees with significant bias and transfer them. The Washington Post reports that Starbucks is not even planning to measure the results of its afternoon of race bias training. So, just like the cream on your latte, it's window dressing that won't help the bottom line. That's it for Brand New. See you next time.